What if I told you that retirement wasn't always the utopia and the paradise that people expected it to be? For millions of retirees, the dream of endless freedom, of golfing, traveling, fishing, and staying at their leisure actually turns out to be something different, something less positive than they anticipated. There's financial stress, there's loneliness, there's loss of purpose, there's boredom. And a good percentage of retirers are finding that relief only comes in an unexpected way. They have to go back to work. But here's the strange part. They don't go back to work because they have to. They go back to work because they want to. That was me. I retired after being 33 years in the military, and I enjoyed my leisure for a couple of months. But then I got bored, and then I wanted to have purpose again. And so I took a job with the VA being a federal police officer. I didn't like that so much, so I took a job as a corrections officer, and then as a deputy sheriff, and finally I became a Pinkerton Burns field security supervisor. I had 160 officers working for me in Northeast Kansas, and it was a great job. But that was taken over by a Swedish company. Things changed, and I wasn't happy there, so I moved on. I took a job with the state of Kansas. I was the state's veterans representative. I worked at Fort Riley at the Wounded Warrior Battalion, and I truly enjoyed that job for many years. And now I'm doing something like this. I just have to stay busy. This is an important trend that we need to understand, that retirees want to go back to work. And there are reasons they want to go back to work. Let's look at some of them. The obvious one that stares us right in the face is the financial reality of retirement. You know, people make the mistake of not preparing as much as they ought to. They underestimate how much money they're going to need in order to retire. They fail to take into consideration that there are changes coming up. Inflation rises by 3 or 4% every year. That means in 10 years, you're going to need 30% more than what you have today to retire. That could be a lot of money, hundreds of dollars more you need to survive on. They don't take into consideration that groceries are going to rise, products are going to rise, services are going to cost more, insurance costs more, property taxes rise, healthcare rises. Everything is rising. Nothing comes down, except for maybe your pay. As a result, pensions dry up and they don't last as long as you anticipated they would. Retirers must dip into their savings account in order to make ends meet. And most retirees lived on a fixed income, so there's little room for unexpected, unanticipated expenses. But that doesn't keep them from coming up. Unexpected home repairs, unexpected car repairs, your children need a loan to help them get out of debt, unforeseen health issues that pop up and cost you money. And here's a really big factor that impacts your financial status that most people never anticipate. And it's simply this: retirement changes your spending habits. You say, what? Yes. You'll find that in retirement, every day feels like a day off. What do you do on your day off when you work? You travel a little bit, you dine out more, you shop more, you remodel more. It's subtle at first, you don't realize it for a while, but eventually the money starts running out and you have to revisit your budget and start making adjustments to what you spend. And usually that doesn't work out. It's not enough. Inflation is just killing you. And so you've got to go back to work. And so money is one of the biggest reasons retirees return to work. Another reason is because they miss the workforce. You feel like you're no longer part of something, that you have no purpose. Your whole life you had purpose. You worked, you raised a family, you ran a business, whatever you did, it was something that kept you occupied and you felt part of. And then it suddenly stopped. But it's supposed to. That's what retirement is. You leave the workforce and you move on to your leisure. But some people find that in retirement, you feel an ever-increasing sense of emptiness, and you realize you no longer have purpose. You aren't part of that world anymore. And the solution becomes so painfully obvious to you. You need to go back to work. You need to be part of something, anything, just to keep you occupied. And then there's another reason. The utter boredom of retirement. Retirement can be boring. Some people can sit and vegetate all day long, and they're content to do it. But for most of us, we have to stay busy. It not only makes time pass more quickly, but it keeps boredom at bay. There's just so much golf you can play. There's just so much fishing you can do. Eventually, kicking back becomes old. Retirees who feel truly bored with their lifestyle in retirement have to make a change. They have to do something. And going back to work seems to be the obvious and most sensible thing to do. The happiest retirees are not those who are at their leisure. Oh, they are for a while, a couple months, maybe a half a year. But those who stay engaged are the ones that remain happy for the longest time. Are you thinking of going back to work? If you are, please visit the other videos on my channel because I share absolutely great ideas for you to go back to work. I tell you what's available, what jobs are actually senior friendly. People really want seniors over anybody else, and how to qualify for them. It's simple, it's easy to get a job. And if you found this video helpful, pass it on to a friend who might be needing the same information. And please subscribe so you don't miss the rest of my videos that are upcoming. Thanks for being here.